But we've got, we just have everything electronic so far.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Oh, good evening. Having a little technical difficulties.
Take your time. We ain't going
We'll
nowhere.
figure it out. We only have one item tonight. How you doing, Alder Sal DeCola? Alder Carmen Rodriguez, Alder Decker, Alder Gerald Antunes. Okay, I believe we have a quorum. We can start. Okay, so now you're on the screen. Mr. Lucas. Okay. Okay, so you have to help me out here for his hands. I'm gonna
You're ready to go.
okay, all right, okay. Thank you again. So we're gonna call this meeting to order. The Community Development Committee of New Haven Board of Orders will meet on Wednesday, April 21st, 2021 via conference. Please check this URL to join https://bit.ly32rxog or to join by audio dial 312-626-6799 or 301-715-8592 with webinar ID 98943399287 and the audio only passcode 02600346691. Resolution of the Board of Alders of the City of New Haven approving the disposition of parcel of land contiguous and partial of Mill River to the State of Connecticut Department of Transportation. These items is on file and available in the office of City Clerks, 200 Orange Street, room 202, New Haven, per Honorable Brian Wingate, Chair, Honorable Michael B. Smart, City Clerk. For a disability-related accommodations, please call 203-946-7833 or 203-946-8582 prior to the meeting. Public can view the meeting on Board of Alders YouTube or http://bit.ly32rxog if you wish to present testimony at the meeting, you must register in advance or by calling 203-946-7934 before 2:00 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Public comments, testimony may also be submitted via email to publictestimony@newhavenct.gov before 2 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Thank you, colleagues, for coming out tonight. I will ask my committee to introduce themselves, starting from my vice chair.
Alder Frank Douglas, Ward 2.
Alder Kimberly Edwards, Ward 19.
Alder Carmen Rodriguez, Ward 6.
Alder Sal DeCola, Ward 18.
Thank you. I will ask the folks who's going to be speaking to this item to come up now as we speak. We only have one item tonight. I'd like to acknowledge Alder Decker is here as well. Thank you. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Mr. Chair, this is Carlos Azaguirre from the city's Economic Development Department. I am presenting this item for the city of New Haven. I live at 244 McKinley Avenue, New Haven, Connecticut, 06515. Shall I proceed with a little overview of the item?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the reason we're here before you tonight is because this is a small sliver lot behind 1041 State Street in the East Rock neighborhood. It's an unnumbered parcel on Mill River Street. If you don't mind, could I share my screen just to orient you guys?
Please do.
Okay, I'll wait for this.
Yes. Okay. 1 second.
Just go to here. This is make call. Click on the phone. Yes.
You all set?
Thank you. Bear with me 1 sec. Okay, this isn't perfect because I didn't figure out how to rotate the picture in time. But just so you see, can you guys see my screen? This is the street that is the main street that you're seeing running on the bottom of the picture. Lower part of the picture is State Street.
Mm-hmm.
And, the triangle here on the upper part of your screen is the 0.06 acre sliver lot that the city owns. That's 2,600 square feet of land, so we're talking about a very, very small piece of land, most definitely unbuildable as per existing zoning standards that the city has. We acquired this property from the state of Connecticut in 1977. This was like a lot of this land that you'll see bumping up against I-91 and other highways in New Haven. This was land that was acquired by the state to create the highway. As you guys know, we don't need to get too much into redevelopment, but this building actually used to extend all the way back. The building you see in front of this sliver lot here used to extend back 200 more feet before the highway was built. And the highway, in order to allow for the highway to be built, they chopped 200 feet off the building. The highway, obviously, the DOT folks obviously didn't end up needing all the land. So what they did was, they did this all over the city, was convey the land back to the city for a nominal fee. We're talking about $100 in 1977. And the issue here is that all of this land that generally came back from the state of Connecticut that was no longer needed for their highway purposes, came back to the city with a restriction stating for highway purposes only. And this precludes anyone, including the city, from getting a clean title to the property and building on the property. So as such, the current owner of this building, Brian Smallman, who is a partner in a proposed development with the abutting owner of the property here you see above the building, which is just the staging area. He all these years he couldn't acquire the property to do much with it because of these for highway purposes restrictions. Long story short, it's become a real eyesore for the city, a dumping ground. We spent 5 figures every year cleaning it with LCI cleanups. And when the folks at Post Road Residential, who developed the Corsair which you can see across the street, when those folks came to us to talk about doing a 65 to 70 unit development there, and I should also mention, distinctly different from the Corsair project in that they're Class B apartments that are a little smaller and significantly lower rents. When they came to us with Mr. Smallman, who's lived in the neighborhood for 35 years and is an artisan, a woodworker that owns that white building, when they came to us to discuss this city land acquisition, we realized that with the highway purposes only restriction, we were not able to sell them a clean titled building. We've had long, detailed discussions the city has with DOT, so that we came to an agreement that the best way to do this and would be to sell the land, would be to convey the land back to the DOT. DOT will then negotiate with Post Road Residential and Mr. Smallman to sell them that land, which will then become part of a 4-property assemblage, which I showed you there earlier, to develop 65 to 70 units. So that's why we're here today. We've had extensive discussions with the developer who was on the call today, the alder, the neighborhood. The developer has done much of that work themselves, as it's, again, as a private development. But we've been working on this for the better part of a year, and we hope you will see fit to look favorably upon this request.
Thank you. I don't know if your team have anything they want to add before I go into asking some questions from the team itself. That would be from John or Chris. I don't know if y'all would like to add anything before I open it up for questions.
No,
If you do, but state your name and address for the record.
of course, John McFadden, and my address is 111 Nash Street, just around the corner from this lot. I am one of the members of Post Road Residential. I've lived in New Haven now for 8 years, since before the Corsair was even built. My wife and kids all live here as well. When we built and sold the Corsair, 4 years ago now, we kept the lot that Carlos referenced as a staging lot because we didn't know what to do with it. It's a small surface parking lot.
Excuse me. Can everyone please mute their phones? Anyone that's not speaking, please mute your phone. Thank you.
I do apologize. That might be my daughter, who's 21 months, screaming in the background. So beauty's a Zoom. So that lot was, we didn't sell it when the building was sold. We kept it because we always envisioned doing something with Brian. Prior to COVID, Brian had kind of expressed the need to kind of go down this path to explore what could be feasible. In working with Carlos and the city, we got a little more granular on the title work and realized that there are basically 2 small parcels within this triangle, that one was owned by the state, one was owned by the city. The city lot that we're here tonight to discuss is essentially, as Carlos said, a dumping ground. It's an abandoned turnaround that typically ends up just housing an abandoned car or some sort of construction debris that's dumped there. As part of this development, as Carlos mentioned, we're committing to doing 5% deeply affordable units. And then also the project is what we would call kind of a boutique Class B project. It's not highly amenitized. It's a lower price point. And it's a great project. We think, obviously, it's in the conceptual phase, but part historic renovation, part kind of new high efficiency construction type. And we think it's a great location to add density to the neighborhood, where there's obviously it's abutting a highway, so it's not like we have neighbors that will be infringing upon with the development. So for that, we see only positive impacts to the transfer of this land back to the state. I'll also add that currently the 2 parcels that are privately owned pay $25,000 a year in taxes, and a project of this, around 70 units in size, would probably pay around 10 times that, around $225,000 a year in taxes. So we think it's a good project. I've had Chris Hill, who's a good neighbor, and him and I have been dialoguing about the project, come on to just kind of speak in favor. Alder Decker and I, and then as well as the East Rock management team, have all spoken about this project. But what I'd say is that we're not here speaking to the project itself right now. It's just for the land transfer, so then we can kind of compile our actual project and then come before we would go through the full kind of BCA approval process again. That's what I
appreciate that. Yeah, you'll come back for that part.
Correct. With the building design and a full kind of plan.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So at this present time, considering of time, I want to ask the committee that's on the Community Development Committee, if they have any questions. Just raise your hand if you have any questions or comments. Alder Vice Chair.
Yeah, just for Carlos. So in the past negotiations and conversations with the state, there's no way that the city can negotiate on the sale of this property. You said that because of the highway, there was restrictions.
Yeah, That's a good
Has that
question.
been,
That's a
has
good
that-
question, Ollie Douglas.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You're right. That's a good question. And that is the road that we originally went down this road. We did an appraisal. It came in at under, under $10,000, but we did an appraisal and we prepared to sell it. But after going back, after having our counsel review it closely, their counsel, title search, title attorneys, we realized we could not get what I guess they could refer to in the business as a clean title, which would allow the city, or in this case, Corsair, Post Road Residential, to do anything but a for highway purposes only type of use, which of course doesn't really make any practical sense. So we thought the best use, to sort of enable this, and we did even go to the state and say, look, can we can you clean the title for us so we could sell this back to Post Road? And they said, no, we won't do that. We'll do that, but then we're going to charge you fair market value for the land. That's what the state said. That's their policy. It wasn't an arbitrary thing. Because in other sites across the city where we have gotten land for highway purposes, land that we intend to sell for a commercial development, we've been charged fair market value. So we just, we're grateful for the relationships at the DOT that allowed us to say, look, we'll negotiate with these guys. We know the land itself is financially pretty inconsequential, for any developer of any size, but it's obviously when you're making such a dense development on less than an acre of land, and they really the developer and the other neighbor, Mr. Smallman, who's involved in the deal, needed this piece. So that was the solution that we came up with.
okay, so the second part, so if moving forward without that parcel, what benefit, or how would it benefit the taxpayers? How would it benefit us as far as the tax roll with the existing space that they're going to use?
Without
What's
the
the difference?
triangle, without the
Yeah.
triangular piece?
Yes.
Maybe that's more of a question for Mr. McFadden. Because I don't know what, I don't know if they would proceed. I don't think that they tend to think they're so pressed for land here, as you can probably see. I don't know that they proceed without it.
And obviously Carlos has hinted that we've been working on this for a year, really for 2 years, because we started dialogue with the state on the other parcel prior to that. Without this parcel, you can kind of see actually that we weren't able to show plans in Carlos's initial overview, but the reason this is kind of crucial. The short answer is the project won't happen without this land, because we need to provide a certain amount of parking for the potential project. And we're saving the historic building and renovating that to be part of this kind of new development. Mm-hmm. So without it, you go from what's already considered a low parking ratio of basically half a space per unit to essentially 10 spaces for 40 or 50 units. You'd get less density, and you can see here it basically cuts off all of the a majority of the parking. Our vision, or our kind of thought is, again, if we have the ability to buy this back from the state, the city provides us the opportunity to do that through transferring it, and we're able to purchase from the state. It then comes off, it goes back onto the tax rolls, on our dime, and then also does not become the liability that it is currently with the kind of dumping that's happened there. So, we probably could and might explore the opportunity to do something smaller on the 2 lots, but again, you can see you lose the building above the triangle, as well as a majority of the parking, and you get just kind of a less efficient building.
So that would leave you with, if you didn't negotiate with the state, you'd be left with the land, the land that you already have.
Yeah, correct. And I don't think feasibly that the smaller project would work, given just kind of the constraints we're looking at of parking, financing that. Brian, the historic renovation is an expensive component. It's something that we want to do for the project. That's kind of what Post Road's MO is, to a degree, of unique projects. But so we want to save that, and this land kind of makes a more full development feasible.
All right, you answered my questions. I thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any more questions or comments from the committee? Seeing no more questions from the committee, I will reach out to our neighboring Alder Duckett. If you have any comments or questions, you may speak.
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair and Mr. Vice Chair. My name is Charles Decker. I live at 48 Linden Street, New Haven, Connecticut, 06511. I'm the alder for Ward 9, the ward in which this project is. And I submitted a letter of support to the committee, which hopefully you have in your packet. So I'm not going to go through it point by point in consideration of time, because I know you have another meeting after this one. I will just say briefly, though, a couple of things. One, as I said, this is in my ward, and I can say, I walked around with John on the lot the other day. And when I say I walked around on the lot, I mean, I walked an area about the size of this study that I'm sitting in right now. It's tiny, it's filled with trash. There's no productive use for it right now. That is crystal clear to me. Two, to your line of questioning, Alder Douglas, which was very illuminative, thank you. I believe that one complaint that I receive from constituents in that part of my ward already is about the parking, and I think that if this lot were not part of the development and parking had to be further constricted, I think it would cause major problems in that part of the neighborhood. And third, I think that we, or at least I, am in favor of that development there. I think that John and Post Road are developers who always, go through the entire process with the community. They tend to go above and beyond in keeping the management team informed. I know that on other developments, they've gone door to door in the neighboring areas. They always keep me appraised. They're local. I think that this neighborhood definitely wants local development, and frankly, we need more density. Market rate housing, as all of you have heard me say many times, is not by itself going to solve our affordable housing crisis in New Haven, but we do need more density. And this development, I think, is a way to provide that in a way that's consonant with the character of the neighborhood. So as John has said, there will be a whole process in terms of the site plan, in terms of whatever zoning variance they need, where they'll present the actual development plan. But before any of that even makes sense, we need to dispose of this lot. And so I am speaking strongly in favor of that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Alder Decker. At this particular time, I want to take public comment on this particular item. Thank you. I'm going to ask, is there any public comment on this particular item?
Did I speak up here?
Sit.
I raised my hand. I wasn't sure if I was waiting to be called.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Absolutely. My name is Christopher Hill. I live at 35 Lawrence Street. It's about a block away from the proposed development. I've certainly known John and Post Road development for quite some time, having been in the neighborhood now for 5 years, a resident of New Haven for about 15 or so, maybe give or take. I've seen the work that's been done by him and his team, and it's always been, it's always added value to the neighborhood. A lot of the projects that he's done around the neighborhood, I fully support. They provide beautification, good paying, residents, as Charles Decker, our alderman, said, more density to the area. So I'm in full favor of John and his team.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any questions for Chris from the committee? Seeing no questions, is there anyone else from the public who'd like to speak on this particular item? I don't see any. I'm trying to navigate through this process. I don't see any. So I'm going to say it once again. Is there any more or like this from the public like to speak to this item for the third time? Is there anyone else from the public like to speak on this item? If not, I would take a motion to close the public portion.
I move that we close the public section.
Second.
All is in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion. Seeing no discussion, the public portion has been closed. I will take a motion I'll take a motion to look at this item.
I move the item.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr.
Alder
Chair.
Douglas. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry, Alder DeCola.
No, that's okay, Mr. Douglas. You're vice chair. You can go. Go ahead. Thank you.
So, you know, I strongly believe and go on the presiding alder's whim. You know, Mr. Decker is very clear that he is in favor of this project, and being that, I mean, this parcel has been sitting for a long time, and it really is no use to us. I'm going to support it. I'm going to support the project. Just another piece of New Haven that's going to be looking good, and hopefully it'll be a good piece of tax roll for us. So I'm going to support it.
Thank you. Alder Saldicola.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'm in favor of this. I think this is a great project. It will clean up a blight area, and the project will benefit New Haven in many ways and bring some more revenue to the city too. So I'm in favor of this project.
Thank you so much. I would like to acknowledge Alder Ron Hurt. If you're ready to take a vote, this item has been moved. It has been discussed. I would do a roll call vote at this time to see who all is in favor of the item as we move forward. And I will ask my vice chair to go first.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Third officer?
I'm sorry. Are we voting? I didn't hear.
Yeah, we voted.
Yeah, I vote yes.
Okay. Alder Carmen Rodriguez, how do you vote?
I say yes to the project.
I say yes as well. Thank you so much. The yes has it. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you very much, everyone. Look forward to coming back with the project.
Motion to close this meeting.
Thank you.
I move to close the meeting.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
That's what y'all, listen, they can go, but y'all gotta hang around. Because we got another meeting at 7. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, John.
Thank you,
Carlos.
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you for having the baby on. Thank you. She's your lucky charm.
You know,
Wah, wah, wah.
He's got 2 of them.
so
He's got twins in there.
just for the record, Alder Kimberly Edwards, would you like to vote on the item? For the record, would you like to vote on the item? Alder Kimberly Edwards? Are you frozen? So so would you like to vote on the item? Are you in support? Okay, all right. So for the record, because it's being recorded, people, she supported the item. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.